Hello, it is Diane with Diane's Blue Hearts and Butterflies.com, and this is another video in the Cheerful Daisies bundle stamps stamp class that I am doing for August 2023. And this idea I did case from Elaine Shader, I think is her name, how you pronounce it. And this one creates a fun fold, which is an easel card, so that it stands up. And this is using, again, the get my stuff over here, the Cheerful Daisies bundle, the stamp set and dies. This one is made doing the stamping and then cutting the outlines, and it also shares some other products. The Happy Birthday that I used here is because I didn't know where the other Happy Birthday that Elaine had used, and I didn't know the size of the deckled rectangle, but so for the kids I actually change this up, because I went back on and I found out where the stamp was from, and then I decided to make the rectangle larger so that everything wasn't so cramped together. So the Happy Birthday for the front is from the Beautiful Balloons, and then I used this largest label, stitch label from Stylish Shapes, and then I used the third from the largest on the deckled rectangles for this the card kits. I also am using some of the 2023-2025 in color dots on this card, as well as some linen thread. The paper, I also have taken these out of the Fresh as a Daisy designer series paper, and in here they have several of these background kind of wash looking pieces, and that's what I used for some of them. And then there's also a page, let's see if I can find it real quick, that has the Daisies. It's like a scrapbook sheet that I used it to create. I can't find it right off the top of the bat, of course. I should have had it out. It may be that I'm out of it, because I did use a lot of it for the class. But it's a sheet that has these daisies on it, and I cut one sheet out of here, and then I also used some of these others here, and I can show you that. But this designer series is really pretty with a lot of great colors to use. And so, like this one on the bottom of that sheet, it's more plentiful in the flowers. The blue whitewash or water wash that I was showing you, that's what I used for these pieces right in here. So there are dimensions or measurements, whatever you want to call them, on my blog, but I do go over them here. But if you don't want to try to write everything down, you can check out the blog at www.dianesblueheartsandbutterflies.com, and then I also have links on there to the videos and the listing the dimensions of other cards and projects. So this is a boho blue cardstock. It's 4 1/4 by 11, and then you score that at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. 5 1/2 is the center of the regular card base, and then 2 3/4 is half of this 5 1/2. And that's basically how you do easel cards, the straight easel cards. You could also do it with a 5 1/2 that opens this way, and you could do the easel that way, or you could do one this way with that folds over this way, and do half of the 4 1/4, which would be 2 1/8, and be able to do one that way. But that's basically the idea, is you're just creating half on the front that folds up, and then you have to have some type of stopping mechanism that this rests against so that it will create the easel effect. Also, when you are doing easel cards, you have to remember that anything that you want to embellish on the front, you only want to stick it, if it's going to pop up, you're only going to want to stick the bottom part to this, to whatever you're putting it on there. Because if you glue it to the front or the top, it won't bend. Or if you bend it up, it'll bend that way. So just some tips there. So that's that piece. And then I have a piece for the inside. This is 4 by 5 1/4, which is a standard inside for the card. Then the watercolor wash pieces. You need 2 of these, and they are 4 inches by 2 1/2 to go on there, and we're going to be stamping on that. There is that deckled rectangle. This is cut from basic white with the 1/3 from the largest for that piece. And then there is the white label cut with that stylish shape label. I have also some linen thread that will we can make the bow with if you want a bow. And then there's some scrap pieces of the white cardstock because we're going to be stamping on those as well. So I want to kind of give an idea of how we're doing this, because this is using the stamp set in a way that it's the 2-step stamping. So I'm going to bring this in here, and what we'll need is 1 of each of the flowers and 3 of the leaves and 1 of the stem. And so I basically want to go over kind of the stamping the flowers. The leaves I've already been stamping, but you just stamp them, and you can, let me just do them real quick here instead of talking about it. So you can either stamp them straight, which is really dark leaf. This is garden green. Or if you want a little bit lighter, you can stamp off and create a little bit lighter shade of that same color. And then you just have to remember to space them out a little bit, because the die cut is going to need some space to cut around it. So that's that one. And then this is where you use the background solid piece like I used on the SIP card as the background, and then the outline is kind of the foreground. And what I chose to do is to give it kind of a watercolor look. So the outline I am doing in boho blue as full strength, and then the background piece I'm stamping off and then stamping over the boho blue outline. You can do the boho blue outline second, it's however you want to do it, but I noticed that it was just too dark to stamp the background in the full strength, so I stamped it off. So let me show you what I did. And so you just tap it. You don't want to push down real hard. And it's a light blue color, so it's kind of hard to tell if it's on there. And I need 1 of the big ones, 1 of the little ones, and then 1 of the kind of bent back ones. So that is boho blue in full strength. Just gonna stamp that off, and then you'll ink up the background or full flower, stamp off, and then you're gonna line it up with your outline, and then you'll just stamp, hold there for a couple of seconds, and then you get that kind of effect. Let me do that with these other flowers. This is the boho blue full strength in the outline. And then I'm going to stamp off and line this up. Stamp down. There's that one. And then there is the coneflower one. Kind of looks like a coneflower. And line that up. Just gives kind of a pretty background there. Now the centers on this one, just so that it would match the paper on the inside, I decided to stamp the centers in the copper clay, which is a new color. Center, and then the coneflower one uses the small center, just like the small daisy flower. And there's that. Snip off. And so those are ready to die cut. I've already done that off camera so that I can speed it up. But I do want to show on the deckled rectangle for that happy birthday. We don't need the copper clay anymore. This is using the boho blue still. And you can just put that kind of up here in the corner, so it's out of the way of where you're going to put your flowers. And then this label here, I am using this sentiment again, wishing you the brightest birthday, from that stamp set. And you could always use other sentiments and change this up into, you know, thinking of you, or any kind of message. It doesn't have to be a birthday. I'm just kind of low on birthday cards. So do those and then set those aside. And then these two little pieces that are going to decorate the front panels of the easel card, I am going to be using the small trio flowers that are in the stamp set, and I'm going to ink it up, and I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp on here so that it gives kind of a hint of the color in the background, and it just creates a little bit of another focal point behind there. But you want to remember to stamp off before you stamp on here. And I just kind of rotate the stamp around. Rotate your paper too. Some of that's going to be hidden, so let me just do the other one really quickly. I just always think these daisies are so bright and cheerful. It just kind of reminds me of innocence. So, got that done now. And again, when you're using the photopolymer stamps, you do want to use the Stampin' Pierce mat to get a better image of that. So, let me bring in all of the pieces that I've got ready. And we can put this together. So this piece is the one that goes on the inside. Let me burnish these edges again. And this one. I'm going to use adhesive to put this one. Got the really good copper colors in this set, as well as some curry and wild wheat and things like that, garden green. So this one's going to be a normal size for the inside, so it's just a small border around. The front, we're going to want to adhere these two pieces that we stamped. Got some on there. Couldn't see the glue. I just want to make sure it's not going to peel off because it's holding some heavy stuff here. And there's just a little border around there. And then repeat it with this one. And again, a small border around all the sides. And then there's that. Now remember, like I said, when you're adhering this, pay attention to where your middle bend is, because you don't want to get glue above that. So I just kind of put it down on this lower part. You can pop it up, you can glue it straight on. I'm going to glue this straight on because I'm going to be popping up some other things on here. And then kind of get it even on the front, and then when you pick it up, it'll have that top part come. Then we're going to start adding our flowers and our stem. So the stem, I am going to go ahead and adhere with the Tombow glue because it is so small. If you want, you could use some type of adhesive sheet or something behind it. I'm just trying to do a little bit here and there. So I definitely don't want too much. And then I'm going to put this over here for the cone flower. Since well, this one I did in the centers in Pebbled Path, but I really kind of like the copper color better, but I had already done them. So this one I'm just going to use a glue dot to adhere it over the stem. A couple of glue dots. and it can stick over off the side. The big one I'm going to pop up with dimensionals. But you don't want too many because you're going to want to be able to stick your leaves in under here. And I'm going to kind of put that down this way to cover the bottom of the stem a little bit. Go. And then there is this one. And if you wanted to have another stem, you could. I think I'm gonna pop this one up too. Have this one kind of come up from here. And then I have my 3 leaves, and I'll just use glue dots to adhere these. I'm going to put one, I'll just have to put it right over here. You know what? I'm going to cut some of this white. This one didn't cut very well with the die. So I'm going to just cut some of that white off. And I'm going to stick it on here like it's coming off of that stem. And this one. Have it coming off over here. Here. That. And then we need to adhere the little catch inside. You're going to want to pop this up with dimensionals so that it has something for the cardstock to lean up against. So I'm going to add a few dimensionals across here. And then you kind of figure out where you want this to be. It's going to be kind of up more towards that top portion so that it stands up better and you can see these other flowers. But kind of get it where you want it. Make sure that it's kind of centered on the inside. Boy. Pop that up. And then this just kind of rests against that. Then I created, with 3 strands of the linen thread, a bow. And I'm just going to adhere this with a glue dot. Kind of roll it back on itself. And I'm going to put that, I'm going to put it over here. On that stem, and then get out some of these blue dots. Sometimes it works with the spatula end, and sometimes you just need to be able to push it a little bit. That one's not working for me. So, try that again. There it goes. Starting to. So I'm going to put that one down here. Of course, this is just personal preference. And then you have your Easel card that you can send to brighten someone's day. And then again, you can stamp the flowers on your envelope and be able to have that cheery envelope as well. I hope that you enjoyed this project and maybe you'll give it a try. Again, all the dimensions can be found on my blog at dianesblueheartsandbutterflies.com, and my YouTube channel. If you do like the projects that you're seeing, you can subscribe to my channel and click that bell icon, and YouTube will notify you when I update new videos, which I do generally about once a month for my stamp class. And then you can join me and stamp with me. If you're interested in any of the products, I invite you to shop through my blog, through the channel, so that you can get these wonderful projects or products to make these projects with and be able to enjoy. I hope that you've enjoyed this project and that you'll come back and check in with me again. And I thank you for sharing your time with me.